Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. We're back with more Kingdom Death, and this is a Death High release, and there's no label on it, so I'm going to guess that, I know it's a Death High because I can tell from the school-looking uniform. I know it's a Disciple of the Flower Witch. Let's see what it's called, because I don't remember. Some of these I have had sitting around, and I just have not gotten a chance. I know I do these videos all the time, but sometimes I forget what I got going on. Disciple of the Witch. Okay, I was kind of close. And without fail, Lockham Lamb's artwork always makes me think of JRPGs. Especially when it comes to the Death High stuff. Now, in the past, the Disciples always made me think of Dragon's Crown. The Vanillaware side-scrolling beat-em-up RPG, if you're interested. You can obviously see some similarities, but I don't know why this one always reminds me of like one of the Atelier games. And I don't know which one, but I know I played quite a few. Anyway, that's just me rambling about my extensively nerdy knowledge of old RPGs, and that's a whole other avenue of discussion we can go down one day, if you really wish to hear that. It was once upon a time in college, I think I owned or had played every single JRPG that had been translated into English, and I probably played a good chunk that weren't as well. Alright, so what do we got? This is one of the photoresin models, in case you haven't built any of these. These are 3D printed directly at Kingdom Death headquarters, I believe, these days. So they may not be in stock at the very moment you look, if you go online and check that out immediately after watching this video, which you're more than welcome to. However, a lot of times these do show up pretty regularly again and again because obviously they have control over the production numbers. So one thing I'm noticing right away is there's a lot less cleanup on this girl than some of the other ones I've had. And looking really closely, I don't see a whole lot of scan lines. I know some of them, I know like the Sci-Fi Urza, that one had some serious scan lines going on that really needed some cleanup. I'm not seeing a whole ton of cleanup that's going to be necessary here. I do like the pose and the fact that it's in some, pretty solid stability issues. Both feet are on the floor, that's going to help. Her cloak needs a little bit of work, that's okay. Fingers are all there, thankfully. It's never fun when you get something 3D printed and half of their individual fingers are missing. Okay, it looks like it's going to go like that. Sort of, kind of. We have the actual head here. And yes, it does look suspiciously like a mushroom, and that is completely intentional. In case you're not familiar with the source of that. And then what do we have in here? Some teeny tiny parts. It wouldn't be a Kingdom Death kit without them. What do you have for me today? Oh, an individual hand. And obviously that's supposed to be there because it was bagged up in there. But was it originally supposed to be attached to this or not? That is the question. So we've got the spell book. Wait. Do I have a choice or something? Here's a hand. Here's the same hand. One with the book and one without. Oh, I don't know. Interesting. So I'm assuming that would go like that. And I can't find the hand already. I have no idea. I don't know why this hand's there. That's way too big looking. Who knows? Maybe Adam Poots knows. I don't. I do know that I'm going to put her with this and hope beyond hope that the chain on that lantern, I'm assuming that's a lantern, doesn't break in the process of either gluing it or starting to paint it. So, not the most complex model, but always be careful with these Kingdom Death models because they are fragile, especially the non-plastic stuff, and you don't want to break it after spending way more money than you really should be on this stuff. So I am going to go clean her up, figure out what that hand's for, and we'll see how she stacks up to some other Kingdom Death models we got laying around here. And we always have Kingdom Death models laying around here, sadly. But that's just me. So we've got our Disciple of the Witch all done here. And one thing I didn't realize at first, and I mean I knew it, but this is Disciple of the Witch 1. If you are up on your Kingdom Death lore, there are multiple Disciples of the Witch. So that begs the question, are we going to see any of the other ones eventually in the Death High line as well? Now, I was trying to figure out what the hands were all about, and then I realized it's all part of her cape, because their cloaks are sentient creatures that work with them to protect the forest, if I remember correctly my Flower Witch lore. It sounds right. Anyway, my only real concern with this model is the fragility of that lantern hanging off of her spellbook. Otherwise, this is just a pretty neat model, and yeah, it's part of the Death High line, but I think this is going to make a totally legit looking mage for just about any type of game. My first thought is Frostgrave, obviously. The only real issue I have, besides the fragility of that lantern, is just getting her posed is going to be a challenge. She's barely touching the ground, and, well, it's a Kingdom Death model, so what do you expect? Otherwise, pretty neat. I don't own any of the plastic disciples of the witch. I had some at one point in history when they were first released in plastic on Halloween one year, but then I traded them off because we were going to get them in the Kickstarter at some point or another anyways. Size-wise, looks pretty good with the only other Death High figure I have here at the moment, which is the Dragon Sacrifice in her cool bomber jacket, grabbing a silence from the Black Friday bundle. If you're curious, she's always available along with the male version every Black Friday so far, and I don't see that changing. You can see, looks pretty good size-wise, as it should, since they're all designed by the same people. But definitely a fun little sculpt. She doesn't feel as schoolgirlish. Obviously, they have the uniform Seifuku going on there, but to me, it feels a lot more in line with a typical anime mage. So, if that's something you're looking to paint, definitely have a good option with this model. It reminds me of the Atelier series video game girls, alchemists. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to hopefully go get her started with some paint. And I just realized, is that a face on her hat? It might be. Those look suspiciously like eyes, like a frog or a fish head or a sorting hat. Anyway, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and check out Kingdom Death Story if you're ever interested in picking this stuff up, because there is no reason you should be supporting all those scalpers on eBay. See y'all later. Bye-bye.